Hey, I'm Brian Van.
I'm Max Van.
Today we're going to break down the all-new Alpinestars Racing Absolute 2 one-piece race suit. Okay, the all-new Alpinestars Racing Absolute V2 retails for $37.99 as the time we're shooting this video. That gives it the very distinct honor of being the absolute, no pun intended, absolute most expensive suit in our catalog. Let's dive into a little bit of sizing here, and then we're going to talk about what I think is the key feature with this suit.
So sizing, I'm 5'11", and I'm 155 pounds, kind of like an athletic build, I would say, and I'm wearing a size 50 Euro. And also underneath, or inside, technically, I'm wearing a size small.
There is the big news.
Tech Air 10.
Tech Air 10. So go ahead and give them a quick 360 so they can see what it looks like all the way around. So, the big news with this suit, probably one of the biggest reasons to buy it, except for look how sick it looks.
Yeah,
that blue that's amazing, dude. Here is the liner for the Tech Air 10. Notice the bulk, right? This was your number one complaint with this.
That was my number one complaint.
This race suit, I'll show you more in the second part of this video, allows you to take the Tech Air 10 out of the liner, install it inside the race suit behind the liner. A little bit of a pain in the ass. We'll cover that in the second part of the video, but once you got that all done,
it's great.
And it's in there.
Yeah.
You tried it on both ways. Which way is more comfortable?
For sure this, like we did another version of the video yesterday, but not knowing that we can put it in the liner, and I will say it does feel 10 times better today.
And that's proof that Brian Van does his research before he does these videos, and we make sure that what we put out is accurate. So, the big news with this suit is the Tech Air 10 integration is behind the liner. It makes it so much more comfortable. That was the big advantage with the Racing Absolute V1 that used the Tech Air Race. You would install the Tech Air Race behind the liner.
Yeah.
It was sick. It was
a great suit.
I'm still riding in it.
Yeah.
Might be getting one of these. Probably in that blue. And a Tech Air 10. Looks great. Now let's start talking about the suit itself. What Alpinestars was aiming at when they brought this one to market is they wanted to get you as close to Marc Marquez's, and let's face it, nobody's tested a race suit like that guy.
No, let's be honest.
How safe do you feel in your showy helmet after watching him crash?
Oh, I feel great. I don't know. I feel
5,000 times.
I feel like I could be a close second compared to him.
No, you're not even in the same ballpark, dude. He's got more in a weekend than you have all year.
Yeah.
Okay. They wanted to bring to market for the public a suit that was literally right on the edge of that. This entire suit uses kangaroo leather. It is very light.
Very light. Like, as soon as you take it out of the bag, of course, there's not going to be an airbag installed. Like, you're going to be like, what the hell? You know what I mean?
Oh, it's super light, dude.
It was light.
And they also added a bunch of the high-tech materials they've been using. This thing is full of Kevlar-based materials. Yeah, let's start here. Let's start right here in the elbow. So what they've done here is they have bonded a Kevlar weave on the other side of the kangaroo leather. This helps prevent tear and wear through in that area. They use it here, and they use it in the seat and the hips of the suit. They've been doing this since the Alpinestars GP Tech V3, and it's in the Absolute as well.
Yeah.
We have tested that personally, right? He has tested that personally a number of times.
A lot.
It worked great. Never did we have a burn through in any one of these areas where they put that material, and it also is so thin, you don't even notice it's there.
Don't notice
okay?
It's there.
So that is one of the high-tech materials that's blended into this. This suit also uses level 2 CE certified armor in the shoulders, elbows, forearms, knee and shin, with level 1 armor in the hips. Remember, with your Tech Air 10, you have an integrated back protector. The airbag itself, when it deploys, is going to cover the back, over the shoulders, the chest, as well as the hips. It's a single deployment device, right, which is, one of the kind of downsides of it, but it provides the most coverage and protection on the market today. The stretch material right here in the back, ACS Tech, right? It's a buzzword they've given it. It is some high-end, breathable abrasion and tear resistant fabric they've been working with that takes the mobility and the weight and the breathability of the suit to the next level. They've used it in those areas, and they've also, if you want to show them the knees.
So with usual suits and Alpinestars, they do like to add, I'm going to say, bigger, more knee protection, which is really, really nice. It's sometimes contend when you're standing up, you're not going to be standing up on a motorcycle unless you want to wear a race suit motocrossing. But it can, really bunch up down there, and it can be uncomfortable. This, honestly, not a ton of bunching up at all. It feels great. And also, when, getting on the brakes or even going in a straight line, this is going to flow like nobody's business.
Oh, it's going to float on there,
really,
100%.
really nice.
Show them the grip panel on the inside of the leg.
Yep, this is unique for sure. It's flex the quads. No, I'm kidding.
Both sides, you have a grip panel on the inside that's going to really interact with the tank grips you have on the bike and or the tank to help reduce the amount of pressure you have to use with your legs, right, to squeeze the tank. That, in turn, helps you put less weight on your hands, right?
Yep,
Makes it easier to control the motorcycle. While we're still focusing in this area, replaceable knee pucks, of course, exterior knee cup, level 2 armor like we talked about. They're using their matrix fabric down here on the bottom. This is like a real strong mesh fabric that flows air very freely. It's used in that area. You see some integrated vents in the knee slider as well. If you want to turn just a little bit, Max. Right here, vulnerable seam. They have some Kevlar-based fabric right there to enhance the protection in that area. You can see the added protection, that ACS Tech material right there on the back of the calf. Tons of perforation up here in the torso. Perforation up here.
For sure.
All the Kevlar-based stretch material. You can see they fortified this seam here. That's a real critical spot. And look how far the Kangaroo comes up on the forearm. They're really trying to keep the stretch fabric off of the ground. Got a nice mesh finish right here in the cuff. I'm going to turn around again. Fully perforated race hump, right? We'll pull this thing out and show you later on. It is drink bag compatible. If you want to use a hydration pack, there is a pass-through. Here's the downsides with that. If you're using a Tech Air 10 on this thing, you go to throw a hydration pack in there, it's probably going to be a pain in the butt. You definitely have to do it from the inside of the suit. I don't know how many people are actually going to use that. Got a bunch of stretch fabric, spans across the top of the shoulders. It's going to keep the suit comfortable. Also encourages exchange of air in that area. Large motion panel here across the waist. You can see that crosshatch pattern behind the Kangaroo here. All that is that bonded Kevlar in that area. Couple layers of Kangaroo leather in the seat. Integrated tailbone protector. Some segmented perforation here in the hamstring area. And then, of course, all the stretch fabric on the back of the calves. I'm going to face the front again, buddy. Yep. Tons of tech. It's really expensive, right? That's probably going to be the biggest knock.
Without a doubt. But here's the thing that I'm going to say. After trying it on with the, the airbag actually put inside the liner, I think it's worth it. I think it's a great suit. And where this suit's going to shine compared to, I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's a GP Plus V4, and same with the GP Tech V4, is going to be that this thing is going to be, the temperature when you're riding is going to be, it's going to be great.
You got that whole liner out of there, dude. You got that base layer for that Tech Air 10 is out of there, and you remove all that additional material.
For sure. And this is beautiful. I mean,
it's sick is the only word to describe it. It's not going to be in everybody's budget. If you're a high-end rider, you can afford this.
Make it happen.
Make it happen. It's worth it. You're probably going to absolutely love it. You're going to have the latest and greatest airbag protection integrated the right way. Alpinestars, I would love to see you do this with some of the suits that are down under that $2,000 price point to make this more available to the masses. If you like what you see so far and you want more information, stay tuned. We're going to get this suit off Max, pull it apart, and give you a closer look from the inside out. Okay, as promised, here's an inside-out look of the all-new Alpinestars Racing Absolute V2. The big thing is going to be the integration, the direct integration of the Tech Air 10, where you have removed the base layer, installed the unit itself between the liner of the suit and the shell of the suit. We'll start with here on the left forearm. They've really rolled this up on the inside of the forearm, so it's totally out of harm's way. That is your LED panel, right? We don't have the unit charged up right now, but when it is charged, this is just a little mesh right here. The lights are going to show right through. Going to be very easy to see. are you in a proper state of charge? Are you good to go? So on and so forth. The chest of the Tech Air 10 is inside of this pocket that is part of the liner of the suit. They made a lot of modification to this, and the way it comes with these pockets kind of stitched up with this red, kind of easy to remove thread. It makes it clear what you need to remove. It could be, in my opinion, a little bit easier to remove. Take your time when doing it, and we'll talk about this a little bit more as we get the liner out of the suit so I can show you a little bit more clearly what's happening there. The liner allows the waistband of the Tech Air 10 to pass through, right? Because remember, this is in fact how you turn it on, okay? So that passes through either side. For the chest, there is a red tab right here. And notice they have like, a little soft panel here to insulate you so you don't feel this metal clasp against your body. And if you look on the inside of the left breast of the suit, there's a couple of different slots where you're able to drop this into 3 different levels. Depends on how tight you want it held in there, right? So this holds the chest in the proper position. That's all you need to do to get this thing on, adjusted, and then activated. To recharge the Tech Air 10, what you would do is you would undo this snap, undo this zip here, could probably undo the one on either side, and then this is going to give you access to the back side of the unit. Pull that strap through. And once you have that, this might be a little tough to show on camera, but I can see up in there now. You get your plug in there, you get this thing charging up, and you're good to go. Okay, so that is what you would do when you recharge. You wouldn't pull everything apart, you would pull just enough apart to get the charging cable hooked up to it, and then let it do its thing. Of course, the LED panel is going to show you the state of charge. You need to pull this out of there when charging and have it on here. That's all in the Tech Air 10 video to make sure that that panel is also at a proper state of charge. To remove the liner from the suit, you need to come into the cuff on both sleeves. There's a zipper. You need to undo that. Once you've released the zipper, you will then undo the Velcro. There's a little Velcro panel up here, right on this location, right in that location, on the inside of the sleeve. I want to make sure you release that as well. First time you take it apart, take your time, pay attention, and when you put it back together, you want to make sure that you get everything lined up nicely. All those little Velcro retainers that hold the liner into place, you want to make sure you've got them done up properly, that you're covering the entirety of the Velcro patch on the other side. It's just going to make it more comfortable for the rider. Got Velcro across the top at 3 different points. Zipper on the other side. Come down to the legs. This is the back of the calf. There are 4 Velcro patches, 2 on either side. You want to go ahead and release those. Reaching up inside the suit, right in this general area here, you're going to find a Velcro patch that holds the front of the liner in position. Go ahead and pull that. Repeat the process on the other side. All right, you'll find a Velcro patch here in the hip area. That's already been dislodged as I've worked the rest of the liner out. Pull it on the other side. Go ahead and pull the legs through. Kind of going to pull the shell of our Tech Air 10 out. So I'll give you a little closer look. On either side of the suit, there are zippers attached that you will line up with the zips. This is almost impossible to show here on camera, but there's zippers. You'll line up with the zips that are on the Tech Air 10. You have to reach around the back side. The zipper pull is between the Tech Air 10 and the exterior of the suit. Reach back there, release that. Do that on both sides. Velcro patch up here at the top. I'm going to go ahead and release that. Now, where this definitely gets interesting is the sensors in the shoulder areas. What I found was the easiest way to deal with this is let's pull the shoulder armor out. And then I don't think we're going to be able to catch this at all, but we're going to give it a shot. Right here, there is a Velcro patch. It's like a Velcro pocket. You need to release the exterior, like so, and then your sensor is held into a little rubber pocket. You need to pull one side of it to release the sensor, and I'm going to show you this a little closer, a little more detail once I have it apart. Just very difficult to give you a close look when I also have to get my hand in there. Here is the sensor. We cover some of that in more detail in the Tech Air 10 video. There is a sensor in either shoulder. So once you get that one out, we need to come over to the other side. Let's go ahead and pull that shoulder armor. And then we'll reach back there and see if we can expose that sensor and release it from its mount. This one I don't think we're going to be able to really... Can you see any of this, Tom, or no?
Not from this one. The other one I saw.
Okay. You want to be kind of careful with the sensor. There's no reason to apply a ridiculous amount of pressure. It comes out of there pretty easily. Okay, now let's get this out. Put the shell of the suit off to the side for a second. And we could take a look at how this integrates into the liner of the suit. So initially, using the hip here as an example, okay, and it's a little more twisted now than it was when I put it all together. Right, when you get everything inside the suit, you're able to kind of reach back in there and tuck everything down nicely, and it's going to really stay in place. The top of this pocket had some red thread that spanned all the way across that loosely had this pocket sewn shut. That was the case for the pocket on the hips on both sides, the shoulder, as well as the pocket that, and we'll show you this once we pull the unit itself out, the pocket for the chest cavity as well. You need to very carefully break all that thread loose, right? Cut that thread, pull it out. I was able to do it without any issue. The liner's perfectly intact. Just take your time, be patient. Once you've done that, what you'll find is all the mounting points for the Tech Air 10 airbag bladder, we have the same loops that we see with the base layer for the Tech Air 10. And these loops here, that are going to hold it into position. So we're going reverse now, obviously removing it. Go ahead and release all those snaps. Over to the hip here on this side. Like so, and here is your liner. I want to show you the pocket for the chest, how that came initially, right? Initially, it was zippered closed, and it was stitched over the zip. I'm not sure that I totally understand the reasoning behind stitching over all these pockets, right? I feel like even now that I've removed that thread, this liner is perfectly intact. It's not going to create any issues. However, if you're going to install this inside these race suits, you're going to have to take the time to cut that, because that is the way all of these have shipped. This hip also includes armor from the factory. You know, assuming you have, and Max had plenty of room to use the airbag and the hip armor. There is CE level 1 armor that is included in that area. It would be wise to just leave that into position. All right, so there's your liner. If you're going to wash this, remove it, hand wash it, mild detergent, line dry, never throw it in the dryer. Here is your Tech Air 10 unit. There is your charging port back there. It was difficult to show on camera that it was accessible once I had it partially zipped open, but to recharge this, you're not going to have to pull the whole unit. You're just going to have to familiarize yourself with its location. The cable is very easy to get in there, right? It's magnetic. It's very easy to do. No reason to pull it out. If you want to give them a closer look at the sensors, plenty of wiring harness. When you have this inserted in there, you want to make sure that the harness is stretched out in a way that when you're in the suit moving around, it's not going to be pulling on either end. They provide plenty of wire to get that done, and it's going to mimic the install in the base layer for the Tech Air 10. So this part's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Once you get everything opened up, it's one of those things where you just really want to take your time and make sure you get a good end result. Let's go ahead and look inside the suit just a little bit and see if we can't have a look at the spots where those sensors are mounting up. There's one on either shoulder. This is a rubberized piece. One end of the sensor goes in here, the other there. What you need to do is you slide one end in first. I used a really small flat-bladed screwdriver, and you kind of use it to push over the other end very gently and then slide the sensor into position. Once it's locked in both sides of the rubber, you just fold the Velcro over. That is going to ensure that it's going to be held in place without any issue. You do that on both sides. The shoulder, you'll note the armor pocket for the shoulder is fully floating. It allows you to gain access to the sensor location in the back very easily. Zippers. The zips inside this suit to attach the Tech Air 10 are right here, one on either side. You're also going to see a pass-through for the waist belt. You want to make sure you feed the waist belt through either side. Don't fold it over. And then you're going to feed it through the liner of the suit itself. And that is just then going to stay on the other side of the liner so you have easy access to it. Inside the suit, from there, it has everything you would expect to see. You know, it's all the double layers of leather here in the seat, tons of protection there. Remember, that's backed up by the Kevlar, of course. Let's see if we can get a look at some of that ACS Tech fabric from the inside out. This is going to be a portion of the stretch panel that's along the back of the shoulder and around the side of the suit. You can see this stuff is capable of stretching in any direction. It's very robust. It also allows air to move through it. It's pretty cool. It's a nice addition to the suit. The last couple of seasons, Alpinestars has been focusing on bringing different technology into the race suits. This stuff is always used initially at the highest levels of racing. There's a lot of testing that's done to make sure that they think it's going to hold up. And then the racers, in the end up being the test pilots before it comes to the consumer suits. Got all the Kevlar fortifications in the vulnerable seams on the suit, replaceable elbow sliders, little mesh trim here on the cuff of the sleeve. See if we can give you a closer look at that ACS Tech stretch right here in the knee. Kevlar reinforcement. Here's the matrix fabric down here in the lower shin area. That flows air freely, and it has simply less bulk than even the Kangaroo does. Comes the nice GP Pro knee sliders. Okay, there's a lot going on here. This is complicated. This isn't for everybody. That's the reality of it. Installing the Tech Air 10 in the suit, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, if I'm being honest with you. It took some work to get it in there. It took some patience to get it in there when I compare it to the Racing Absolute that I have, where I use the Tech Air Race. There is a very big difference in the amount of patience and effort it takes to install the Tech Air 10 in this as compared to my Racing Absolute. If you're not a patient person, don't do it. You're probably gonna be irritated as you go through the process. With that said, you spend the time up front, you get it done, you get it in there, and I can tell you, having Max wear the suit without installing it behind the liner, and then having Max wear the suit, removing the base layer from the Tech Air 10 and installing the Tech Air 10 inside the suit, between the inner liner and the shell. The comfort difference, he said, was epic. The fit, the feel, the removal of the bulk, it's going to cool much better. It makes a huge difference, and you're left with what is then arguably the most high-end road race garment available today on the market. Simply because of price, this isn't going to be for everybody. You have to be a pretty fortunate, hard-working individual to even think about buying a $3,700 road race suit. Nevertheless, it's interesting to look at it. It was kind of cool to go through this whole process of this video, integrating the Tech Air 10 into it and understanding it all myself. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments section of this video. As always, I'm here to help you choose the right gear for your next ride.